What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, man? Salute to Rainbow, the God. KF is in the house. MS Optimistic 4365 is in the house. How are you guys doing? This is a test stream. As you can see, we have upgraded to a full road setup. Okay, let me see if it is in the frame. We have upgraded to a full road setup. All right, road out of Australia. They're doing some amazing things. Let me know how we sound. I'm going to get the playback. I'll make my adjustments. But before I do that, of course, you know I'm petty. I'm going to check in, man. How is that fundraiser doing, man? See, Faring is in the house. I was just watching another stream, but I had to come into this one immediately. Salute. Thank you, my brother. Let me know how we sound. Are we too loud? Do we need to turn it down some? Do we need to make some adjustments? I like what I listened to previously, but if this is good, why not, man? We are laughing all the way to the bank. Spend some of that Austin Holloman AdSense money on some new equipment, all right? Also, the reason I upgraded to a dynamic mic is so that I can remove these funny foams from the background, because with this, I don't need that. There is no reverb, okay? So I'm gonna remove this. This is a brand new office, but I don't like the paints that came with the house. So I'm going to repaint this side of the office. Not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after that. I'll do the paint work. And then I'll get some wall lights. I'll move my setup a little bit to the front so you can see my background. And we'll make this into a nice studio, okay, so that we can get some more views, right? So obviously, when we're getting the views, we're putting the money right back into the channel, and that way we can grow the channel and give you a good experience, all right? But before, if you guys like how we sound, let me go ahead and also update you on the fundraiser, okay? Why not? Why not, man? Why not? Let me upgrade you on the fundraiser. Okay, so fundraiser is at $969, okay? It used to be $869. And I think Alicia Dove was that lady in our live stream the last time. She was not too happy with us, okay? So I think she went over there to support your boy with one of her welfare checks. You know, she gave a welfare check. She waited till Friday to get paid, and she gave that welfare check to Austin Holloman. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 6 days ago. He has not gotten a single dollar for almost an entire week. If we didn't piss Alicia off to donate, it would have the previous person before Alicia was where is that person? Oh my God, this is such a horrible fundraiser. 21 days ago, 19 days ago, 18 days, 19, 21 days, 21 days, 13 days, 19 days, 15 days, 10 days, 18 days, 14 days, 19 days, and 6 days. If I'm observing right, the closest here is about 14 days. It's been 2 weeks since Mr. Veles here gave him $50. This fundraiser has died because people believed us. People can see through it. We have people that live in Kenya on this channel. This is the only African channel on the internet. So obviously, our American friends can come here and get the truth, because we know when something is a scam, especially if the scam says this, okay? if the scam says this, we all know that Africa needs this. Once you say we all know that Africa needs this, it is a scam, fellas. It is a scam. We don't need this shit. Even he knows we don't need this shit. And this idiot, this SOB was trying to raise $50,000 on the backs of Black America. You know, I have done my service to the Blacks, right? Haven't I done a good job? I have done my service to save Black folks from this extortion and from this theft. This is why Austin Holloman is threatening me. Okay? And it looks like he's deleted that video. But we're still working hard to get that channel taken off. What he did is such, man, he's such a disgusting human being, man. Such a disgusting human being. Let me take your comments. Who do I have in the house? David Smith is in the house. Salute to David Smith, my brother. Salute to you. Doing a good job. Who else is in the house, man? We are testing. Hey, we are testing, but we're doing better than, what is the dude's name? The two guys, I call them Fat and Slim. Fat and Slim is Mentuition. Do you guys know a group of guys called Mentuition? Huh? Do you guys know a group of guys called Mentuition? I think they are trying to get my attention. You know, there's a fat one and a skinny one. So I call them Fat Slim. Fat Slim, they want to get my attention. Okay? They have some issues with the Homie Hub. Instead of addressing the Homie Hub directly, they started becoming bigots and racist. Why are these people so racist, man? Why are they so racist? See, if white folks do it, they are quick to cry. They're crying racism all the time. See, the American Negro is the only person that cries racism in America. Meanwhile, we have all these Africans, Middle Eastern people, everybody from all over the world pouring into the United States of America. You will never hear any of those groups cry racism. Mumbai people coming in, no problem with racism. But the ones that have lived here long term, know the land, indigenous to the land, they cry racism when you check them. So apparently the Homie Hub is first generation Nigerian. But he's American. He doesn't sound Nigerian. He doesn't sound like me, okay? If you don't sound like me, you're not really African like that, right? He's not African. So the Homie Hub and their folks, a bunch of weirdos, by the way. I mean, these are prostitute buying idiots. The Homie Hub has some issues with Fat and Slim. I call them Fat and Slim, okay? Instead of them dealing with their issues man to man and say, hey, Homie Hub did this, Homie Hub sucks, Homie Hub is this, Homie Hub is that, they used the word Tethers. They used the word Tethers, and they were saying that there's some Tethers in this space that are causing some problems, you know, indirectly. And he was like, I don't want to mention names. I was like, man, mention names. Come on, dude. Just mention names, bro. Mention names. Okay? And the whole live stream was a fundraiser. They only got $30. They only got $30. Okay? They only got $30. And I was like, really? That's all you guys could get? $30? And you're gonna your boss is in the house. What's up, my boy, your boss, man? Your boss sent me an email, man. I need to check on your progress. I know you were doing some college. I need to check on you, bro. See how you're doing. So the Homie Hub and these guys, you know, Fat and Slim, they have a problem. They are supposed to keep their problems on the issues. But these black dudes are mad that the Homie Hub is of Nigerian descent. So now they are trying to say that only black Americans should travel. Like, you guys barely got your freedom. What are you talking about? We've been traveling, man. I've been traveling. You know, I've been traveling for, goddamn, I don't even know how many years. I've done 54 countries in the last maybe 30 years. They're 25 years, 26 years. Some of these people are not even 25 yet. And now they are telling us not to talk about travel. How can you be under 25 telling me not to talk about travel? You just got your freedom, dude. You just got passports. Okay. And they're sitting in Cartagena. They don't know that I used to live in Cartagena. That's my city. That's my city, man. Walking around like idiots, don't speak a word of Spanish. And then their channel is struggling. Fat and Slim, salute to Kobe. Nancy Bass is now, salute. You know, we've just made this into a live stream. I was just checking my audio, but let's go. And, Fat and Slim, which is Mentuition, I call them Fat and Slim because one of them seemed to not know where the gym is, and the other one is missing some calories. So I'm like, why don't you just transfer some fat from your homeboy to you so you guys can both look like you're in shape? Okay? Like, why won't you tell your homeboy to loan you some fat so that you two can start looking normal? You got one dude that is fat as hell and the other one that looks like he came out of Somali refugee camp. Sorry to my Somalis, but I don't have a better analogy. If you know, you know. And they are making content together and nobody watches their content. Like, we are doing a test stream, no thumbnails, and we got 23 people in the house to check the audio, and Fat Slim is over there doing $30 fundraisers. $30 fundraisers, bro. What the heck is that? $30 fundraisers, begging on the internet, like some starving. See, these people say Africans are this and that and that. How many Africans, apart from Mawa, how many Africans are begging on the internet? These people are lost, man. What am I going to do with these people, man? So Fat and Slim, they are now they've joined the Tariq Nasheed stuff only because they have an issue with Homie Hub. Now, I'm not here to defend Homie Hub. I mean, we've disowned him. He's not African, okay? So I'm not here to defend him. But I'm like, I might have to defend him a little bit, just a little bit. Only because Mentuition, Fat Slim, decided to use the word tether and ask why Tethers are talking about traveling. I'm like, well, how did we get here? What do you mean Tethers are talking about traveling? We traveled here. We got on airplanes to come over here when some of you were not even born. So why are you questioning why we're talking about travel? Why are you questioning our ability to travel? So now travel is only reserved for the Black American? I have not seen, these Black folks are so prejudiced, I don't even get it. And now let's talk about Oshay Jackson. Let me cut to this video. I didn't want to do playbacks today, but let's, you guys are here, so let's just do it, I'll have to do a separate stream on this idiot, like I left him alone because he talked about how he was suicidal and all the issues he's been going through, and his mother and his parents and stuff. And I think he did this live stream with me in mind because he knew that I was going to talk about his father. I had warned about 4 months ago that I had some information on his father. So Oshay Jackson threw it in. So this is the psychology of Oshay. The things that he's disadvantaged in, he puts it out there publicly for you to know that he has that problem so that you don't use that against him. It's a way to kind of calm down the trolling, but deep down it hurts him. Okay? This dude is dissing the looks of a Nigerian, thinking that he looks better than a Nigerian. This is the closest Black person to a monkey on the internet, talking about the looks of a Nigerian. That's when I said, okay, whatever agreement I thought I had with this dude, it ended when this stream ended today, 14 hours ago. The gloves are off. I am no longer interested in talking to him. I'm no longer interested in compromising. I have a community of Africa and Africans to protect. So I am going to go with the herd, which is I am going to support my people. And these guys should hope, they should hope that my channel does not grow. They should only hope, because that's all they have right now. They know that I don't have a lot of eyes on my videos. But this game is going to take time. Obviously, I've done a system upgrade, which means I'm here to stay. So eventually, and KF remembers, Kobe and KF, they've been here longer. We used to stream only 4 people. I mean, when we did live streams, we only had 4 people. Even prepared live streams, like live streams where we've told you 8 hours in advance, we'll do it for 2 hours and there will be only 4 people. So we see the growth. We moved from the big channel to the small channel, and we're still doing numbers. The last time we had 80 people watching our live stream. This same channel, when it was 1,200 subs, we had over 112 people at peak one time, depending on the topic. It depends on what we talk about, right? So we have traction. I just don't have so much time, but I will make time. I promise you. I will make time, because I've heard some of your feedbacks. I talked to one of our brothers I think it was on Friday. I don't remember, on Friday or somewhere. One of the brothers reached out to me over live events. I don't put people's businesses out there, but it was over a live event. So I gave him 45 minutes of my time, absolutely free. We met on Zoom. We talked through some strategies. I gave him some support, which is what it's about. I want to see my people win. And I did not charge him a dime. And one day he will attest to it, where if he's open and comfortable to share, he will share it in a comment section one day. I did not charge him a dime. I gave him absolutely all the time I had so that he can work through something, which is beautiful. And I want to do a lot more of that, okay? Because sometimes all you need is talk to somebody else to learn something new and to get some perspectives, okay? And if I need something, I'll reach out to any of you and you can share with me. I'm not a perfect person. But Oshay is, these things I've noticed, these runs he does them when he's drunk. Okay, and this is an hour and 53, but I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. This video right here.
If Oshay go to South Africa.
Okay, so this Shego did his video. We're gonna skip through his reaction. I just want to let me take some of your comments. All right. Okay, we're gonna skip through his reaction real quick, and he broke it down the best. But I want you guys to just listen to the hate in this guy's heart. And when I was listening to this live stream this morning, what I asked myself is, it feels like we are stuck with Austin Holloman and Oshay Duke Jackson in East Africa. We are stuck with them. They will never leave. Even though they know that we don't like them there. That is the painful part. They will never leave. And also what I gathered from this, he believes that he's entitled to Africa. He doesn't see himself as a foreigner. He sees himself higher than the Ugandans. That he can demand certain things in Uganda, and he uses words like he's going to force Ugandans to make the change. He's using words like that, and that is very troubling and that's very worrying. And it made me sad as an African. People would say, well, the equivalency is like, okay, Nana, you're in the US, you criticize Black Americans. I don't live in Black America. You know what I'm saying? I don't live in Black America. If I lived in Black America, I probably won't criticize them as much. I don't live there. I don't depend on Black America. I don't think I don't disrespect them. I speak honestly about issues. I pick issues like criminal activity, things like that, correct some of the mistakes, the things that what this guy Tariq Nasheed says. I provide a lot of rebuttals to the things they talk about, right? But I don't have a hatred for the Black community. I don't. I consider myself kind of a critic, and I hope that they actually, I always say I hope that they do better. Okay, I hope that they'll do better. But what I get from Oshay Duke Jackson, and I actually wasn't doing a lot of these videos until Tariq and Oshay came on the scene. I never talked about Black American issues until these two came. So a lot of that was to push back and to make them reconsider some of the things they say about us. But it looks like he took a little break. He abused the discussion that we had, and he's gone back. And now he's not only talking about issues, which is fine. You can criticize some of the things he talked about are really true, like corruption and the things that we already know about Africa. But some of the other things he talked about sounded like somebody that has a deep hatred for Africans. And I'm like, so why are you there? You don't need to be there. You really don't have to be there, because we also don't like you like that. If so, Oshay has become a pest. Austin Holloman has become a pest. We want Black America in Africa, but we don't want these Black Americans in Africa. There's a difference. We want Black America in Africa. A lot of us believe that Black America has an ancestry connected to the continent of Africa. So we do like Black America in Africa. But if these are the Black Americans you're going to send us, Africans would develop some fatigue, and you will have yourselves to blame for sending us these Black Americans. You will have yourself to blame. And these people are wise. That's why they're in East Africa. Why don't they do this bullshit in West Africa? They know it's not going to fly. But I think East Africa will catch on. I'm changing my keywords and my hashtags to grow my African audience. All the thing I can encourage is for you to share the videos and clip these videos, help us reach other people, because I'm not that channel that comes here and begs for money to grow the channel. I can't do that, man. That's not what it's about. I just want the message out. Get the message out, right? And we need to get more of our people listening to us so that they can develop some hostile attitudes towards some Black Americans. Not all, but some Black Americans, like an Austin Holloman, like an Oshay Duke Jackson. Okay, I know a couple Black Americans in Africa. I actually have a consultation with a brother next Sunday where I'm going to help him with his move to Ghana. I'm going to give him some good advice for his move to Ghana. So obviously, I don't hate Black Americans. See, and I want to give him those guidances because that is the Black American that I want in Africa. So it's not all Black Americans. It's specific individuals like Jerello, like Austin Holloman, like Oshay Duke Jackson. These people have become like agents, cancers. They've become like, I put it on the community tab. We have this in Africa where if you have a field, a field that you want to plant, like a farm, a field, and you have one weed in that field, and you ignore that weed eventually will outgrow your crops. This is an African saying, right? A proverb in Africa. That weed will outgrow your crops. And when it comes time to harvest, you will harvest only weeds. Okay? So Oshay Duke Jackson is a weed in Africa. Through Oshay Duke Jackson, we got Austin Holloman because he invited them to come over. And he keeps telling brothers to come and visit him while he's there. He promotes the degenerate part of his time in Africa. And these people are not just visitors. Like I can accept a Jirello because he's a weekender. He'll come in and do degenerate stuff and they'll leave. But when you have people like Oshay, first of all, he's discouraging other black people from enjoying the things that he enjoys about Africa. Africa has some problems. We all know that. It's not a secret, man. Before you go to Africa, you know what to expect. Did these people not know what is in Africa? Were they expecting that they were going to see Wakanda and some skyscrapers? What did they not watch enough National Geographic to know what they were getting into? Are we he's talking as if we are asking him to develop us. I'm like, Ninja, go and develop the ghettos first. He's talking as if, yes, he's from the United States of America, but he's talking as if his community is a big player in the United States of America, and that is not true. And this is the mindset that he needs to understand, that the problems of Africa that he's expressing is not news. It's only deterring other black people from going there. That might be good for us. Keep it up, like No Limit Eddie. Keep it up. And I think he's doing this thinking that it's going to hurt us, because these people, they are feel-good people, and they think that if they do things in a certain way, it's going to affect us and it's going to hurt us. That's what they think and that's what they believe. But it doesn't really hurt us, because this is what we've been. He made assertions that Africa is going down. It's like, Ninja, you've only been there 6 years. I was born in the 80s. When the West had internet, Africa had no internet. When we finally got access to internet, we're using dial-up. 10 years ago, only few African cities were connected to cell service. Nowadays, in my rural towns and in my village, there's internet, there's cell service, there's Wi-Fi. There are road networks that are being constructed every day. But there's also some problems with urban expansion and floods and a few things that are happening. But it's not perfect. We have some structural problems like corruption. It exists here too. But it's not perfect. And Africans are aware of that. Our progress is slow. But development has to look differently to us as Africans. It looks different to us. It shouldn't, we're not going to jump overnight into a first world. That's what Black America is expecting of us. And they talk about African unity and Black unity and all this nonsense that they've crafted comes from the West. It's a Western mindset. Africa, just like Europe, is a continent of many countries. We've settled into our borders. Yes, there were colonial borders, but so are European borders. European borders are a result of European cities fighting themselves and drawing their maps. God didn't make the maps of Europe. And God didn't make the maps of the United States of America. They came through conquest, agreements, cessations. And so is Africa. And that our colonial past is also part of our history. So you can't expect Togo to be the same as Ghana. Togo is going to be governed differently from Ghana. Nigeria is going to have a set of problems different from Ghana. Sierra Leone is going to have a set of problems different from Ghana. Congo may have some Ebola crisis going on, but Ghana never has. So if you take the entire continent of Africa and you look at it and pick one person's problems and project it on everybody, you are missing the point. That is the mindset of the Western Black. They still think that we are supposed to be one people. It's not going to happen. Those are the dreams of that useless Pan-Africanism that started at Lincoln University here in the West. It's a Western ideology. We've accepted our countries as individual sovereign nations. The African unity we're talking about is integration and trade. It doesn't mean that I have to be Kenyan. It means I have to be nice to my Kenyan brother, and I have to be able to buy tea from Kenya and sell Kenyans cocoa from Ghana. It means that we can have an educational exchange or cultural exchange, just like the European Union. It means that we can facilitate some border and trade agreements, maybe visa-free travel. So what the South Africans are doing, if they don't want African migrants like the Zimbabweans and the Malawians, which because they had some tough, sanctions from the West, so it killed their economies and it forced them to leave just because they were trying to reclaim their lands. And South African citizens say, okay, there's too many of you and you're illegal, go back. I can understand the South Africans. I can understand it from a logical point of view because that immigration is not controlled. And that immigration creates a lot of pressure on them. The problem with the South Africans is they are not targeting illegal immigrants. I'm not one of those Africans that think that every African should move into South Africa. It's not sustainable. That's not normal. The challenge we're giving our brothers in South Africa is you can demand that people that are illegal leave the country. That's okay. But don't target people that are legal. And that's not what the South Africans did. But Oshay is saying Black Americans should support South Africans because they're chasing out African immigrants because he hates Africans, which is fine. I'm not going to sit here and say every African should move to South Africa. I want each individual state to do better. Some are going to do better than some. And it is up to us Africans to respect the laws that are set by different sovereign nations. It's only in America that people think that every African can just approve from one place and go to the next. It doesn't work like that. We are sovereign, independent countries. And we can make certain things work for ourselves, and that's no problem. But Oshay is not looking at it that way. Oshay is looking at it like, oh yeah, chase the Africans out, they're bad, Nigerians are bad, generalizing, they're all this, they're all this, they're all that. Starts to diss Nigerian features while looking like a reincarnated monkey. Like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm going to play a little bit of it. Let's go. I'll play a little bit of it.
They will mistake him for Nigeria. No, they will not. Number one. Ain't nothing Nigerian about me at all. I don't care how big my nose is. Jigga, I ain't no Nigerian ever been.
Oshay, let me see if I'm recording. I think I am. Oshay Duke Jackson hate Africa. And he exposed himself. I think just give people time. You will get to know their true color. What is their true intention, really? For me, I will clearly say, I do not trust Black Americans in Africa. I don't.
So this statement you just heard from Sheku. If you're a Black American, you're going to listen to this and you think, oh, did he really said that? This is what I'm trying to say. The more you send people like Oshay Duke Jackson to the continent, African brothers like Sheku, he's Sierra Leonean British, so he's African. African brothers like Sheku, Nana, and the rest of us eventually will make Africa not a comfortable place for even the good travelers to Africa. You're doing things that Europeans don't even do. You guys complain about white people all the time. I've been in contact with Europeans since I was a kid because my dad owned a hotel in my town. My dad built the first hotel in my town. So we always receive European visitors, mostly Germans and Dutch people. And they never would go back to Europe and say things like this about African people. They always talked about how warm and welcoming we were to our guest. Oshay has been welcomed in Africa. Africans have worked for this guy. They have worked for him. He cannot return to the US because he won't get the amount of talent for the price that he pays in Africa. So for him to be able to live on a cheap and maximize his content creation business, Africa is a suitable location for him. He's no different than an African that migrates to South Africa or to the US for a better life. But it's just this superior trend that blacks in the West, when they move to developing countries, they still think they are superior to the host countries and its citizens simply because they may have a few dollar signs that the host people don't have. But there are richer people in Uganda than Oshay. And even they don't talk like this. So these people, Oshay Duke Jackson is exploiting Africans. And then he does little good deeds on the side. Then he gets cover and people talk about it. I saw Afro Think Tank make a video talking about how good Oshay is doing in Africa. This is why I equate all these people the same. I don't care if you're Pan-African or not. I think these guys that disguise themselves as Pan-Africans are even worse than just a regular black folk that doesn't know anything about Africa and just visits. See, Oshay has become a pain in the butt of Africans, man. And I'm very disappointed in Uganda. I don't know why they keep renewing these visas. They got him out of there, and I think he paid some bribes to get back in there. And he's only been there for about a month, and he started all over again. I'm like, Ugandans, when are you going to open your eyes, man? We can't keep fighting your battles for you. We have more serious problems in Africa to add these PTSD generators to our problems. He showed you who he was. He got out of there. And then he worked his way back into that place, probably by bribing his way. And then he gets drunk, fires up a live stream, really disgraces himself, and then just straight out insult the same Africans that are hosting him. I'm not hosted in America by the black community. I don't make any money off of the black community in America. I don't. I work in corporate America. That is my company. My whole team is literally 99.9% white and Asian. A mix of white, Asian, and maybe one or two Africans walking around, you know? So I don't make money, even on YouTube, I don't make money off of Black America. I don't fundraise. I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for super chats. So I don't make money off of the black community in America. Even when people have called me for consultations about moving to Africa or even their career advancements, I do it for free. I don't charge them anything. I give people 30 minutes to an hour of my time for free. So I am doing some type of a service. The Ghanaian lawyer that, in my wife's case, where she does pro bono, 2 or 3 pro bono cases a year, she's serving the community in America. The Ghanaian doctor, the Nigerian doctor, the Kenyan nurse, they are all doing a service. Yes, they get paid for it, but they are saving lives. They are working. Work is not free. They get compensated, yes, but they do a whole lot of good in America. As long as they are legal, I got no problems with them. I don't care where you're from. As long as you're legal and you're playing by the rules and you're paying your taxes and you love your community and you're being a good person, I have no issues with. I don't even care what your political ideology is. Some of my best friends are hardened liberals, but I still get along with them. I don't care. So the frustrations that he's going through in Africa it's manufactured. It's not true. This guy has been ideologically moved by being on the internet too much. He's stressed out about his life and how he doesn't feel like he's achieved a lot. He believes, and he says this all the time, that he's been made by his community. Like that Black Americans is what made him. And because that's the audience that watches his video. So he's going to make content that Black Americans like. And what is the content Black Americans like today? FBA-leaning content, the Tariq Nasheed stuff, content that disrespects Africans, and his version is more powerful and venomous because he's doing it from the continent of Africa. And we know the American education system here. I mean, I saw Jason Whitlock today still talking crazy about this African religion and why Folarun should not be playing for the United States of America and why he's an anchor baby and all kinds of bullshit, even though the guy is born in America and he went on a big rant about birthright citizenship. That motherfucker is the reason why the Team USA even got this far. Team USA would have stunk it up without that dude. He's the only one scoring your goals. Good nations attract the best talent. If you don't take him, some other nation will take him. The same with the guys that come here to do medicine. If the USA don't take you, Canada will take you. Australia will take you. Some of us had quite a bit of options as to where to go get educated. I started with the Soviets. Then I ended up in the West. Some people go to England, France, wherever they can get the quality education to stand out. People move around the same way you decided to move around. You are not in Africa for charity. You made a conscious decision to move there because you had struggles with relationships in America. But you want to discount that as if it's not anything. It's also something. You know, it's also something. Why didn't you do these relationships here then? No society is perfect. There's definitely something in Africa that you want. That is why you've moved there. If you don't like it, you wouldn't have moved there, right? You are there because there is an advantage to you. If there is no advantage to me being in the US, I would not be here. So there is an advantage to Oshay being in Africa. If there is no advantage, he would have been gone. Majority of us Africans, he's heard it on the internet. He's heard it from everybody. We don't like him there. I don't know a single African that wants Oshay Duke Jackson there. And we know because we've done stories on him. Even the people that work for him. The people that used to be his friends. Like Wodemaya. He's taking little shots at Wodemaya. Wodemaya is a much better content creator than you. And he didn't leave Africa. He did everything by himself in Africa. You cannot take credit for Wodemaya's success. I saw you trying to do the same with Flacco. Because somebody calls you for an advice, somebody calls me for career advice and I give it to him and they get the job, I'm not going to sit here and say that I created that person. I just offered them advice. It may or may not have helped them. Who knows? Okay? So to claim credit for their success and to make it look like, oh, because I've done this for them, then I can criticize them. Well, you got to ask yourself, here, who's the common denominator here? How come Wodemaya is no longer friends with you? Because they've noticed that you're an idiot. You get drunk, you're out of control, you've still not matured after living in African culture. You've not matured, even though you went there for maturity. Bullshit first, but at least when you live amongst people, you pick the positives of that community to improve yourself. Like I picked the positives of America to improve myself. That is why I didn't come here to be gangbanging, to be shooting people, to be acting thuggish, to be doing teen takeovers. I came here and I picked the positives of America to improve my life. Like expanding my Christian values, going to church. I went to church today. That's why we're doing the marriage series at church today. That's why I couldn't start my stream. You know, strengthening my relationship with my spouse and my children, helping my children grow, working, paying my taxes. These are all the positive, good values that I learned from America. Being able to speak about issues, communicate publicly with people, and be confident in the things that I talk about. These are all values that I learned for being in America. Being racially tolerant, to be able to go to a white man's house and have dinner and not see him as a different person. to be able to walk across the street to my Indian neighbor and not see color, because we didn't have this privilege in Africa. We're all black. So I come here and I know that me and my white neighbor have the same struggles or the same victories. It's encouraging. And that's another dimension of maturity to my life. These are all the positive benefits of America. But if your community sees that multiculturalism part as being pro-white or being pro this or being pro that, there's always this division that exists. And this is why it's created this conflict between us and y'all. Because we don't want to be marching and yelling at people that have done nothing wrong to us. I don't want to be marching and yelling at my neighbor. I don't want to be rejoicing the stabbing death of a white school child by a black child. I don't have to be rejoicing teens in South Carolina beating a policewoman who is white. This happened last night. Things like that. I don't have to be rejoicing a man and a woman in South Carolina killing their daughter, burying that child, and a month later calling the police and saying the child is missing. I don't want to rejoice those things. I don't want to possess this mentality of violence and rebellion that exists in certain parts of America. That's not what I came here to do. So you could also take the positive parts of African society and use that to improve your life. And if you don't find anything positive there, leave. Nobody wants you there, bro. Leave. You are in a part of Africa where you have no ancestry to. Uganda was not part of the transatlantic slave trade. So they don't owe you anything. You're a visitor to the place. They don't owe you anything. And you're a pest. Nobody, this is the painful part of this Oshay Duke Jackson thing. This guy is a pest. Like, the Africans don't want him over there, yet he's still not leaving. It's the same problem with Austin Holloman. We don't want you over there. I mean, to his credit, Oshay is not scamming. But Austin is scamming and threatening us for calling him out. And the only reason they can do this openly is because they are walking around East Africa. Why don't you motherfuckers bring this shit to West Africa? Take it over there. Go to Nigeria and talk all this bullshit that you talk about. You know what's going to happen when you do that. And these blacks are not idiots. They are aware. They know where they can play stupid and where they cannot. And I'm calling on Ugandans. If these people come over there, scam them. Because that's what they're saying about us anyway. If they are buying products from you, charge them twice, 3 times the price. If they employ you, steal their equipment, steal their products, destroy, make sure those businesses they set up don't work because they came with dollars, right? Use it up. If they, if they want to buy real estate, sell them customary land and give them a fake title. And watch them lose $10,000 and $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Eventually, they're going to leave. Because your government is not going to push them out. This is why we need to expand our broadcast to lots of people in Africa. We have to treat these people the way they say we treat them. Because the painful part is, if this is not true, and they are amplifying these things, they are destroying our image using a very little, small encounters. Some of them don't even have these encounters, but they're going to say it anyway, right? So if that's what they're going to say, then why don't you just do it? I'm not calling for violence. Don't be violent to them. I'm just saying, just don't be nice to them. because they are taking our niceness. You've been so nice to him that he comes on the internet, roughs you up, say a whole bunch of shit, makes $500-600 in super chat, and laugh their way to the bank while discouraging other black folks from traveling there. Yet he will never leave. If it was that bad in America, fellas, you wouldn't even have to tell me. I'd be gone so fast. You know, if a place is so bad, why? This is what I haven't understood. If the place is so bad, why are you there? You know? I know the hood is bad. That's why I never go there. I don't even know where the GPS turns to go to the hood. I mean, think about it. 20 years in America, and I've never stepped foot in a hood, not even driven through one. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe I did without knowing it was. I just do interstates, suburbs, and downtowns. That's it. The latter, very rarely. Okay? In 20 years, 20 years is literally a lifetime. And I haven't been to the hood because I don't deem it safe enough for me to be there. Okay? So if Africa is unsafe, like No Limit Eddie says, if Africa is going backwards, like Oshay says, why are you there? Leave, man. Come to beautiful USA. There's so much opportunity here. You can double, triple X your money on this side of the Atlantic. You can do a whole lot more without dealing with mosquitoes and the dust. Why are you subjecting yourself to all these issues? This is why this is bullshit. If it is that bad, and he makes that, oh, that's why you guys leave and this and leave. Well, then why have you left? We didn't ask you to come over there. You have no ancestry tied to that place. Matter of fact, you even claim you have no ancestry tied to Africa. So why are you there? The moment you change your ideology to believe you're not from the place, you should have left. There's nothing that should keep you in Africa. Why are you there? First of all, we Africans, we don't want you there. We don't like you. We don't want you there. Then you yourself don't want to be there. So why are you there? You left Uganda because you got into a little bit of trouble. Then you bribed your way to go back there. And then you get drunk this morning and you start all over again. Why are you there? That is a question you should ask yourself. Why are you there? You should not be there. We know our problems. It's not hidden. It's in the books. It's on TV. You are not the only Black American that travels to Africa. You are not the only American that travels to Africa. You all just seem to be the ones that complain the most. It's usually Black Americans that are the only ones complaining. The last people to visit us are the ones that are complaining the most. Europeans have been coming there since I was a baby. And they don't complain because they know what to expect. Their education system has taught them enough about the place. So nothing wows them when they get over there. Okay? So if Africa is going backwards and its disease is infested, and he was talking about how people are out there, that people have no soul when they are walking, they look depressed. How come they are not on antidepressants like people are in the West? How come they are not having a drug addiction problem en masse like here in the West? If they are so depressed, Africans live free. How many homeless people have you seen in Kampala? Not very many. And most of the time, if you see them, it's because of a mental condition. They just don't want to go home. There's a family home for everybody. If you have shelter, you've solved 50% of your problem. So people are not walking around soulless. Yes, it's hard for some people to get jobs in certain countries. But that's not the problem across the continent, across the board. You know, there's corruption. Everybody speaks against it. We all speak against it. We hope it stops. Some countries, like my Ghana, keeps jailing politicians that have stolen money. So obviously, we're making changes to these problems. The US government just extradited a former Ghanaian official to go serve prison term in Ghana because she fled to come hide in the US, and they sent her back. 2 weeks ago. So we are doing the things at slow pace, but at least we are not overlooking some of these things. Okay, so if Africa is not the place for you, why are you there? You should just leave. Like I said, if I lived in Black America, the day I made my first video about Black America would have been the very day I leave Black America. But I don't live in Black America. You know, the part of the United States where I live, I love this part of America, which is a place where I live that is predominantly Judeo-Christian with a few Hindus, that Sunday everybody goes to church, that kids play with nobody shooting them or fighting. There's no fighting in my neighborhood. Nobody throws punches here. Kids here are well behaved. They want to go to Harvard and MIT in this neighborhood. In Frisco and Prosper ISD, the kids shoot for Ivy. That's their target. They're not killing themselves. They're not doing YN bullshit. So of course I like this part of America. You know, and this is Texas. Is what is beautiful than cowboy culture here. Absolute gorgeous. No problems with white America. Love it. Love it. You know? So you will never find me speaking negatively of the United States of America. I've never done it. Actually, I've been very pro-American in all my things that I talk about. So me calling out YN culture is very pro-American because it's bullshit. You all don't have the balls to talk about it. You want to gaslight everybody about that stuff. That's why some of us talk about it. But to act as if we don't know what happens in Black America and then, you know, you all of a sudden you're in Africa to save us. Man, anyway, let me play a little bit of Shleko's thing here. Let's go.
I really do not trust them. You know, they're temporary. Their love is always temporary. You have to understand people, they do things mainly for clicks, mainly for donation, really. It's a thing I've actually seen time out of time. I've actually studied the patterns.
That's oh, y'all want to give me all your money? Then give me some more money, so I can go to South Africa and find me one of them ladies I'm gonna marry. Give me all your money. I'm gonna get some more drink. Thank you, Brother Kyle. You got somebody to give it to me because
when things start to get, let's say, difficult, you don't normally expect them to stay tuned, right? You expect them to exaggerate, to generalize. And there's a thing I've actually studied of all the Black Americans living in Africa. You know, he went live on his channel, and I don't subscribe to his channel. The thing just come up recommendation randomly, and it was like, oh, live. You know, he doesn't normally go live, honestly, right? But I don't really watch his channel. So this was the first time watching him live. You know, I was really hoping to go into the live stream. I wanted to learn why Black Americans should support South Africans. I think we all know now, it's a hot topic, really. You know, as an African myself, you understand, very proud of the continent. I have mingled with South Africans. You know, I know South Africans up close. I have dated 3 South African ladies in China. They love their country. I work with South African, I'm not joking, whites. I worked with Black South Africans, you understand. I have, have a bit of taste of their culture. Apologize. So many people out there, they're experiencing hardship at the moment, really. So obviously South Africa is in transition. Surely it has left a bit of taste on many Africans out there.
drink to that. What? Nigeria? What? I'm putting a what? Do y'all know about y'all? Do y'all know what they already said about y'all before I was born? Do you know how many government, what y'all been trending?
Who is this guy? Well, I think it's best for me to leave that to him to explain.
And I'll add the GA. How about that? But ain't nothing Nigerian about me. Add a motherfucking thing. Ain't nothing African about me. Nothing. Okay? Understand that. I am from Sacramento, MNF, and California. I'm from Del Paso Heights. Don't you ever forget that. Black America made me. Ain't nothing about me from Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. I ain't from there. I'm here, but I ain't from there. Don't get it twisted.
There you go. He's a proud Black American. I think, and on his live stream, somebody commented, it's like, you look, if you visit South Africa, chances are they might mistake you for a West African, you know, a Nigerian. And then he was like, there is nothing about me that look Nigerian. You know, I don't like to use this word, but I'm going to use it. Nigga, you look so Nigerian. Mate, listen, no disrespect to Nigerians, but Nigerians do have big nose. It's true. They really do have big nose. They have big features. They're big people, big personality, right? They are actually quite creative. I like Nigerians. I'm not going to lie to you. Surely they have a very bad reputation out there. And these are people, I would say, who are very smart. You know, if you go to the States, many Nigerians out there, you'll find they're doctors, lawyers, engineers, really. They're doing relatively quite well. They're very successful. They focus on business, really. And that is one thing I like about them. Whenever I get in conversation with Nigerians, brilliant. Surely, because of the hardship that happened in Nigeria, I think we all know the 419. I think, you know, it's not nice. Let's put it that way. So surely it has actually destroyed the reputation of Nigerians. And of course, in what is happening in some part of Nigeria as well, is unstable. Let's put it that way, unstable. In the northern part, you know, it's sort of religious sort of conflicts and tribalism. It's a thing that happened not just in Africa. I think that's the thing many Black Americans always say. You know, the problem with Africa is tribalism. Or see if they don't have that in the States. And guess what? I used to live in America. I am going to expose every single thing in this podcast. Now, I listed some things, some of the points, man. When he starts speaking, he never stops. You know what I mean, right? He will continue. We keep going on and on, on and on. So the first thing I noticed from that live, well, clearly, he doesn't like Nigerians.
Every Black group, Black Americans, Jamaicans, what? Haitians, what? Well, hold on. Somalis, come on now. Are you serious? Like, I'm the first person that said something about y'all. Boy, you be here all day and tomorrow until Jesus get off the cross. They've been talking about y'all for years. What are you talking about? Y'all better get real. The whole world know about what y'all be doing. They write reports. The World Bank writes reports. The IMF writes reports. What y'all do is wildly.
Somebody wrote in the comment, FBA will make Africa great again. This is what they believe, right? So they go over there with a conquest mindset. They think that they are the superior Blacks. Their goal, I'm like, there's nothing superior about you. You're bottom in this country. Black immigrants have surpassed you in America. They should have a more leading role because at least they are from Africa. They are connected to Africa. Your lineage is here, remember? So for somebody that believes that their lineage is here, why are you there? Like, I think Oshay's living in Africa is deliberate. He's there kind of like a spy, like somebody that is working for a government entity with the goal of destroying the very little progress in image that Africa has made, right? Like, if I take what I've experienced in America, when I showed up here, the Black statistics that I found in America, every metric of that statistic has gotten worse. The violence is way through the roof now. The impulsivity and all the things that goes on is through the roof. The homicides, all this, every statistic has gotten bad. The reading metrics, math, educational attainment, a little bit higher on the Black women's side, much worse on the men's side. See, in the Black American community, even though the majority of their destruction has come from women leading their homes, most of that should also be associated with men not being in the homes. Where are these fathers? Where are they? And one general characteristic that you will find in men like Austin Holloman and Oshay Duke Jackson, these are that rejected 80% that grew up with no fathers, fully traumatized to the max, that have decided to unleash their trauma on a homogeneous society like Africa. They don't fit there. This is why they don't have any respect for the place. Austin Holloman was mocking my names. I'm like, Ninja, you have a slave name. Holloman is German. You are carrying a slave name, making a mockery of a name that is rooted in history. Like, you have, and I'm like, what? So unless you have a supremacist mindset, there's no way you would think that an African name is not a good enough name. Names that have real meaning and not connected to an oppressive past. Well, so it sounds good for you because there's a lot of vowels in your name. It sounds very good because it's European. Yet, you guys blame us when we come to the West for aligning with Caucasians and white folks. Like, yeah, you are not any better. Actually, I think, I've said this to Black immigrants, you're better off aligning with white America. You fit them culturally better. They are more educated and more read, so they won't say mean things to you. They understand you culturally because they are curious more and they are well-traveled. These idiots just started traveling the world and look at the mess that they are already creating. They've created a mess in Colombia. Colombians are what do you call it? Profiling them. Africans are already tired of them. It's like you've been traveling there for only 6-7 years and the Africans are already tired of you. So the common denominator here is you. It's like we're chilling over there and then you're coming into us. When we come to America, we're chilling amongst ourselves. We don't come into your communities. If we're so very interested, we would have been in your communities. We don't. So when you also go over there, it's like, we're not trying to be around you and you still coming. It's like, it feels like a pest. We don't want you over there. We don't want you around us. We don't want people that think like you around us. Of course, it's not everybody. But people like these Oshays and Austin Holloman's degenerates, I call them polished degenerates because now they have a little bit of money on the internet. What would Oshay Duke Jackson be doing with his life if he's not creating content? Nothing. He couldn't finish medical school. He still lies about it. There's no way you'd be doing this bullshit if you went to med school. Because medicine comes with respect. Look at how this dude is talking. This ghetto-ass dude. You think he'll pass a class of algebra to be able to even get through biology and physiology and anatomy? No, he couldn't. So these are not people that will go through USMLE and do a residency. He's not going to be able to fulfill that. So these people are only have been able to have a say only because they got on the web earlier on. And he's able to remain relevant due to the talent that he sourced out of Africa. He doesn't like these people like that. Like I said, like you will never find me in Black America. Like I'll never go there. And I've expressed this openly. It's not like I'll talk to a Black person. I would advise a Black person. I would share opportunities with a Black person. But I won't visit. I won't go into a Black home. I have a few Black friends, Rob and a few guys that I used to work with in the past. Actually, one of them has slept in my house before. But that's because we have personally something in common. So it has to be at an individual level. It's not a community band for me. But when there's an overwhelming Black majority location, I will never be there, mostly for my safety, because the data tells me not to be there. So if that's how you feel about Africa, you shouldn't be there either. Maybe you should go to Cape Town and say, okay, I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, which is racially diverse, which kind of mirrors the US in a little bit. So I wouldn't be offended if Oshay lived in Cape Town, because it kind of mirrors the West. It feels like the West, it's Africa, but it's not really that Africa that everybody knows, right? And that would be a more convenient place for people that come from the West. But for him to go to places like Uganda, feels like it was a pre-planned exploitation, just like the people that arrived in Africa to exploit Africans and take slaves. That's the same mindset, okay? I'm reading a book called The Chronicles, and I'm going to do a video on it. The Chronicles talks about a real Portuguese sailor's encounter, which is Prince Henry, one of the first people that sailed the coast of Africa from Portugal. They were the first expedition crew to Africa. Their mission to go to Africa in hierarchy did not include slavery. Slavery came as a consequence. That's why it was fifth on the list of the things that they listed as their priorities of sailing south. When they got there, the first contact is they found that the Africans were already trading intra-Africa between themselves and Arabs. They also found Islam in Africa and other traditional religions and multiple languages on the coast of West Africa. And I hope I can get somebody that knows how to do a documentary, and I'll share an African's perspective of the transatlantic slave trade, because these idiots just don't know anything about it. And this man documents what Africa was and how their initial contacts were and how they initially started taking the first sets of slaves from West Africa to Lisbon. And the mindset is that similar mindset of a neocolonialist, which can come in the form of black people too. Actually, I think the black people of today are the bigger neocolonialists. It's not the white folks. The white folks, they got no issues with us. They enjoy Africa. I mean, white people have a blast in Africa, man. They come there, they treat us for the most part with respect. You know, they understand the cultures, they walk around freely. You can go to the most rural parts of Zambia, you'll find a white dude from England walking around wearing local clothes like he's lived there his whole life, speaking even local languages. These idiots have lived in Africa for 6-7 years. They haven't even learned a single language in Africa. If Oshay is referring to us, he changes his accent to mirror the accent of the shit that they showed them in the movies growing up here. Like this anti-Negro terms and way of speaking. Oh, we're upping. I'm a to be like that. And I'm going here to come in here. And I'm coming here. Come here. Come here. Come here. That's how Oshay speaks when he's trying to talk about Africans, as if that's how we sound. That's not how we sound. But they make those things. And they mock African names. I mean, is there any level of bigotry beyond this? This is why you immigrants in America, and a lot of you don't listen. You should not be fighting these people's battles, man. They are the racist. You see, black Americans are the most racist Americans in America. A lot of people don't know that. These people are the racists. They are racist towards other groups, bigots, hate white people, celebrating the stabbing and killing of other people. That's what they do. And when they are not doing that, they are killing themselves. I mean, how worse can it get, man? And this is what we are allowing into Africa. Like East Africa, man, wake up, fellas. When are you going to put a stop to this? You have to discriminate. Some discrimination is good. It doesn't sound good on paper here, but you have to discriminate. The Colombians are discriminating and it's working for them. When you come over there and you sound like a ninja, they send your ass back. It's not hard to tell, right? They have the hairline. They speak a certain accent of English. They move arrogantly. They even walk arrogantly. You can pick them out in the airport. You can tell an East African from these guys. Soon as they arrive in Jomo Kenyatta, you send them back. You don't ask any questions. At least do that for a little bit. Because, you know, I played a lady's video, a black American lady that lives, I think her name is Traverse Culture. She lives in She lives in Nairobi, Kenya. And she was talking about how the black folks that have showed up in Nairobi are like really the worst of the worst. And that is because we've allowed that to happen. We've allowed Oshay into Africa. Our laws have allowed this exploitation to go on. And no amount of things I say on the internet will change that, because these officials only see dollars. They don't care about our dignity and the respect that these people will show us. And now they are even demanding that they are going to change how we do things in Africa. That's how powerful they feel. They haven't changed the hood, but these new explorers can change African society. 3 or 4 idiots walking around Africa think they can change African society. With what? A baseless culture? Like, what are they going to change African society with? But we've allowed this to happen. We are to blame. He got out of Uganda. You guys ran him out of there. And then he paid his way back in. And you've allowed him to come over there. You know, and at some point, you have to just say, man, enough is enough. You know, this is not good for us, man.
Documented. Gemini know it. ChatGPT know it. Everybody know what y'all do.
He really despised Nigerians. He generalized all Nigerians as CFM. All Nigerian people, right? People out there, they are criminal. He says like they've been studied, and there's so many organizations out there studying Nigerians. I think that is actually quite insane, isn't it? It's like me saying, all black Americans are ghetto, they're gangsters, you know what I mean, right? They are, what is it? They always commit crime, do you know what I mean? Like they're also gangbanging sort of stuff, right? They're selling drugs and all that, right? They're illiterate. They have no culture. Yeah, that's me generalizing now. Of course, you're not going to be happy. I'm not Nigerian, by the way. I want to make man, really, right? So he's actually doing scam stuff right now. He's trying to open a barber shop, a barber school out there, right? Trying to train Kenyan people. I see if the Kenyan people are desperate in need of a barber shop. Listen, man, you go to Kenya, you can get a haircut for like £1, £2, £3, and then you want to charge people insane. And of course, you want people to donate to his stuff, right? It's just, I actually report him to the government, really, right? I send an email to immigration, of course, and of course, the thing is like, if the more people do that, right, report him, they will look into it, like, okay, you know what, there's a problem here. We have
That's the thing, yeah. The more people report, which I'm saying, you know, if there's 10 of us watching and there are 10 emails going to immigration in Kenya and immigration in Uganda, eventually somebody's going to pick it up. Because one thing Africans don't like is just open disrespect of African society and African culture. And it feels like East Africa has slept on this. These guys figured it out. They figured out that the East part is a little bit timid and they can roam wild. And they keep roaming wild. And, you know, and the only thing that can happen is for the government to step in. And if the government is not stepping in, we need to spread these videos out so that the Africans can do African things, which is increase the prices on them when they have an accent, overprice them, you know, make it very expensive for them to live there. If they come to the market, charge them more. If they sound like they're not from Africa, charge them more. You know, if you work for them, don't be productive. Because they are neo-colonialists. So treat them as people that are coming to exploit you. So exploit them in return. If you're going to sell land, scam the land. Don't give them your land. Give them the wrong papers. They're not going to figure it out anyway. You do the things that cost them so much money that it would not be worth the immorality, because a lot of them are coming there for sex, in Austin Holloman's own words, that they are only there to drink and have sex. So if they are coming there to, you know, the Europeans came to teach Christianity and to take slaves. These guys are coming there to teach immorality and to abuse the people. So they are not any better than the people that came to take slaves and colonize Africa. And that's how Africans should start seeing these people. They are not good people. Don't assume somebody is good just because they are black. These are Western people. They are westernized brains, westernized mindsets. They have no respect for you being African. They think they are more beautiful than the Africans, right? In Austin Holloman's own word. And now Oshay has also said the same thing. They think they are more beautiful and they are more attractive. And they are the better supreme blacks. And that they are there, and they even joke for position, questioning why we have a lot of respect for white people. They want to even take the place of the white man in Africa. They want the access that the Chinese and the white folks have in Africa. Those people have put in their time. That's why they've earned that respect. You can't be both. You can't be an Obroni or Muzungu and an African at the same time. Doesn't work. So the only way out is for us to spread this word, man. Clip these videos out. Put your keywords, Kenya, Uganda. I keyword always Kenya, Uganda. One Ugandan sees it. It goes around. They share it. Information travels fast nowadays. If I get 2,000 eyes on my videos every day, which I'm getting now, in 12 months, there will be so many eyes. Eventually, if you are selling a product and an American dude shows up and he's talking with that accent, if the price is 10,000 shillings, it's automatically 20,000 shillings. They don't make any money living there anyway. So eventually they're going to return home. That is the only way we can win on the ground. We don't have to be violent. We're not violent people. We don't have to be violent. We just have to make it expensive for them at an individual level. If you work for them, don't be productive. And don't feel bad about it, because you are fighting a colonialist. These people are colonialists. They are agents. They are CIA agents. They are FBI agents. Treat them like the first Europeans that had contact with Africans. If you give them candy, eventually they will enslave you. So the best course of action for the black African that lives on the African continent is to treat these people as just like the first colonialist that tricked our ancestors, and make it very expensive for them to be able to live there. Make it uncomfortable for them to be able to live there. If they come and apply for documents or papers and you are at the visa office and it takes 1 week, delay that application, double charge them, triple charge them, delay that application for 2 months. Let that African bureaucracy kick in when we need it. Eventually they're going to return. These guys were not coming there 10 years ago. All it took is one person to come there to spread the gospel. And now we have all these colonialists, black colonialists, coming into Africa, doing the worst, the nastiest, the most degenerate stuff. Pab, walking around Nairobi, talking like a monkey, yelling, screaming, disrespecting people, showing his ass. Nothing happens to him. Then the next time we have big boss saying, okay, I'm coming back. And he will come back and nothing will happen to him. And he gets some Kenyans to even support him in this bullshit. This is why this broadcast has to start traveling across Africa. I don't care about AdSense revenue. We have to share this thing. If you're a taxi driver in Africa, you're an Uber driver in Africa, in the morning, you turn on your internet, because now you guys have internet, and you listen to this like your radio and you're driving. If I need to make 10 live streams a week, I will do it. You know, they get into your Uber, double charge them, triple charge them, circle them around. If the destination is 5 minutes away, circle them around places. Make their life a bit more hectic. Eventually they'll leave. Have you not seen all of them leaving Ghana? The average black American lasts 6 months in Ghana, according to data. These are the ones that are quote unquote repatriating, the ones that say they are going back to Africa. they last 6 months. The average Black American in Ghana lasts 6 months. Most of them try, or when it's difficult, they either come back to the US. Most of it's financial reasons, but that's because we double charge them. Soon as they start speaking, we know they are from America. We charge them twice, 3 times the price. If an apartment is $300 a month, we charge them $900 a month. Take their money. Let them pay like they're paying in the US. They got the money, right? Because that's why they can boss you around. Charge them. That's your only opportunity to make money anyway. Charge them. Because they are colonialists. These are Black colonialists. Charge them. Don't be apologetic. Don't be talking about my brother. These are not your brothers. Do you not hear them? Hasn't Tariq Nasheed, Black Alpha Network, Oshay Duke Jackson, Austin Holloman, haven't they said enough for you to know? You know, street media, TV, Super Sly, all these people are using the tether words in their thumbnails, in their titles, speaking freely, disrespecting you only for being in America. Yet they want the perks of traveling to Africa to do degenerate stuff. What are we doing, man? You know, I'll say it may not sound the best. I don't care. But I want my Africans, especially in East Africa, to jump on that West African code, man. This is the time to do it. It's 2026. Let's go. We may have to push it to 2027. But by January 2027, those prices must go up. If they come, you take them from Jomo Kenyatta Airport into Nairobi proper, in Kileleshwa or Kilimani, you charge them $50, $60, $100. If they don't pay, get a few bodies out to surround them and just say some crazy stuff, and eventually they'll pay. They'll be scared. They'll pay it. Extort them. Take their money. They come there with a lot of money. Most of the money is not theirs. They are stealing the money to come there anyway. So take your share. There's nothing wrong with that. It's called thief, steal, thief. Okay? Take your share, man. What do you got to lose? You have one opportunity to shine. Because they're already going to say these stories that are not true anyway. So why not just steal? Take their money. You know? If you work for them, don't be productive. Don't show up to work early. Half-ass the work, half-ass shit. If you own an Airbnb or an apartment, not Airbnb because those are web pricing, but if you own an apartment, you own an apartment in Kilimani or Kileleshwa, you don't be charging no $400. $1,500. All of you owners that have apartments, form a conglomerate and set the price. That if they, in Ghana, if you go to any of our tourist attractions, we have the local price and we have the foreigner price. And I saw a group of them were crying about it. Oh, why? You told us to come home and now you're charging us this. Yeah, you got to pay. So some of them didn't like it, but you still got to pay. And that's what East Africa should do. Let them pay. The visas are too lax. Why are they paying $50, $30 for visas? It should be $500. Every 90 days, Austin Holloman comes in, he has to pay $500. So if he does that, that's $2,000 a year. Eventually he'll leave because it becomes too expensive for him to stay. The work permit Uganda gives Oshay Duke Jackson is $7,000 a year. Make it $15,000. Make it $20,000. Increase these prices. If they are Western blacks, increase the price. Why are you not taking the shot? They are not there because they love Africa. You've heard them. And this is something that we can all do at an individual level. We don't need to wait for the government, If you work at Kenyan immigration and they come to renew, extend the time, make it difficult. Sit on it a little bit longer until they pay some bribes. extort them, make it very, really untenable for them to do some of these things there. Eventually they'll leave. They got a beautiful country. Why are they running from here? To escape racism, to be racist over there? Doesn't make sense. There is no racism here that they are escaping. We've never had a racist encounter in 20 years. And I have more contact with white people than the average Black American. I work in almost a 90-some% team that is white. I've lived in suburbia my entire stay in America. Lived in Bloomington, Illinois, where I went to school. Lived in Williston, North Dakota when I worked for Halliburton. Worked in West Texas, which is like 99.9% white. Everywhere I've been, lived in this country, surrounded by white people. Not a single racist person. I've never encountered. White America is good America. They are good people. I've never encountered a single racist event. Yet these Black Americans will yell racism all over the damn place as if it's something you wake up and see in your face. It's all a lie. Open your eyes, man. It's all a lie to indoctrinate you, to put you on a side that is not stable, because they are not a stable group. What is stable about Black America today? Nothing is stable. The families are not stable. The fathers are not in the home. They're economically not stable. They are benefit over stable. There is nothing for you to be an ally only because you share a skin color. When you're mentally different, ideologically different, then culturally different, then you are very different. If you believe in morality and you want to live a beautiful life, you are much closer to the Caucasian in America than you are to these dudes here that are over here running amok and committing all these bullshit crimes. So don't let them come there, dress nicely, talk as if they are, some elitist group here. No, they're not. This is why we present a challenge to them as Black immigrants, because they know we're not going to take up their bullshit. Which African is going to challenge Austin Holloman the way I do? Because I have the tools to challenge him. I don't see him as a god. Actually, I see him as a piece of shit. I see him lesser than, because he is. But the African wouldn't see that. So it's up to them, they have to watch us. Watch these broadcasts. This is part of the reason why I came on YouTube. So that my people can see and learn and understand these people. And figure out a way to address them. Because they are not your brothers. Some of them are, but for the most part, the majority are not your brothers. A majority of them that come over there are exploiters. They are colonialists. They're there to dominate you because they can't dominate relationships here. They can't even raise their children here. See, these people can't even raise their children. But yet they're going to come and develop Africa for us. They can barely raise a child. That's what the data suggests. 84% born out of wedlock. They can barely stick around to raise their children. These same men. So if you go over there in Africa, this East African woman, because you want a visa, and get your visa. But if you have a child with these people, there is a high possibility that they are going to leave you and your child. Because majority are irresponsible. They don't have a history of doing this. So why do you want to subject yourself to this? When you're raising children, you need to prepare their mind of the type of men, when they come up on marriage, the type of men they're supposed to marry. We do that within Africa. Why are you not doing that with these people? Learn about their family tree. If there was no father at the home, run for your life, man. If they show exorbitant feminine trait, that's your chance to leave. Because if you don't, they're going to kill you and your baby, like they just did in Mississippi. Shot a baby 8 times in the head. A 2-year-old. Google it. It's a triple murder in Mississippi. Shot 2 sisters and their son who was sleeping in bed. 4 people committed this crime. Not even one person said, oh, Ninja, let's stop. Let's leave the baby to be alive. They shot the baby. How do you shoot a 2-year-old 8 times in the head? Only a Black American would do that. If you don't believe me, Google Mississippi murders. It happened 3 days ago. I can cut to it briefly. I'll give you another 5 minutes so you see this. It happened in Jackson, Mississippi. You see, it just popped up. Jackson, Mississippi, triple homicide. This is the case.
Welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Walt Grayson.
And I'm Melanie Christopher, and we are following breaking news. We have new information on the triple homicide that happened on Queen Alexandria Lane in Jackson on Saturday.
12 News' Mercy Rain heard from the mayor and the chief of police today. Mercy, what'd you find out?
Yeah, police believe a weapon stolen from a JPD vehicle may have been used in the homicide. Cornelius Carter and Michaela Young, both facing capital murder charges, were in a vehicle during a traffic stop when officers recovered multiple firearms. Just 8 weeks ago, a series of vehicles were broken into.
Women are criminals. Men are criminals. They come together. They can't even, one of them won't even step in and say, hey, no, this is not a good idea. You get 4 people, go over there and kill 3 people, including a child. And then they steal, they steal what do you call it? They steal a weapon from a police vehicle.
At multiple apartment complexes. During those break-ins, a short-barreled rifle was stolen from a JPD vehicle. The weapon was submitted to the Mississippi State Crime for analysis. Based on preliminary evidence, investigators believe that firearm was used in the triple homicide that claimed the lives of 25-year-old Kiana Weathersby, 30-year-old Erica Weathersby, and 2-year-old Kamari Givens.
The fact that this firearm was recovered in the possession of the homicide suspects underscores the seriousness of the original theft. This was not a misplaced weapon. It was stolen during the commission of a felony after criminals unlawfully entered a marked police vehicle.
Mayor John Horn says this is unacceptable and JPD holds itself to a higher standard. He also says changes will be made in the department to avoid something like this happening again. Live in Jackson, Mercy Rain, 12 News.
So if you wonder why this is, right? A lot of people don't want to say it because I was gonna do a video on this, but I'll just do it. I'll just put it in. I'll let you know why this happens, okay? I'll refer you to some papers. Like I have it somewhere here in my notes. Because I've also been asking questions why this happens. So today you're going to hear for the first time why Black America commits these types of homicides, these ridiculous homicides, why they have this extensive violent culture, okay? There is a paper, I'm pulling this up, so bear with me, okay? Not just a paper, but there's 3 books. There's 2 books and a paper. The first book is called Behavioral Genetics and Crime in Context. It's written in 2006 by Owen D. Jones. When I clip this, I'll put a link to the book in the description. The second book is Lagua et al. It's actually a paper in 2009, 3 years later, talks about genetics and criminal behavior. Recent accomplishments in 2009. And the last one that I personally read, which is at the National Institute of Health, okay, is by Applebaum and Scarich. It's called The Impact of Behavioral Genetic Evidence on Adjudication of Criminal Behavior. This article was written to help reduce sentencing for Black American men when they committed crimes. To say that there was a genetic component to why these people commit these violent crimes. But because they thought that when they say that it was going to be, quote unquote, too racist, and most of this research is done by liberal entities, they picked the advantages of it to help reduce sentences of criminal behavior while explicitly saying that genetics has nothing or not the lone factor in criminal behavior. But some of the findings of this was very tricky, okay? So if you look at sub-Saharan Africa, majority of the countries, if you are not warring, you take countries like Ghana or Kenya, homicide rates are one of the lowest in all of the world. So a lot of these researchers said, if we say genetics and sub-Saharan Africans have such low homicide rates, then that debunks the whole notion of genetics, right? But what researchers found is something different, and I'll read these terminologies for you, okay? Oh, sorry, my eyes are. So there's the first thing I want you to know is something called behavioral genetics. What is it? Behavioral genetics is a scientific field that studies how genetic variation and environmental factors together influence behavior. So this science studies not only genetics, but another thing, which is the environmental factors together. Okay? It does not claim that genes determine behavior. Instead, it investigates questions such as, why are some people more impulsive than others? In other words, why do Black Americans commit these extreme homicides compared to other races and other people? And even compared to other Black people, okay? And the central finding is that behavior results from gene-environment interactions. Two things. Genes, which is the MAOA gene, which is predominantly in Black people, and environmental interactions, which you can underline as Black American culture. So the disappointment in this is that crime is never going to go away until one of these two things are removed. You can remove the gene, but you can maybe remove the environmental interactions. But because of the current state of the environmental interactions, which is with the welfare state, absentee fathers, and all the other things that has become predominant in that society, these violent crimes are with us to stay as long as you're in North America. So the only way you get away from this, and this may not sound pleasant, but it's the truth, is to separate yourself from people that have the likelihood to possess this gene and to be predisposed to these environmental factors. And I'll explain a few things. Genetic predisposition, what is it? A genetic predisposition is an inherited tendency that increases the likelihood of developing a particular trait or behavior. Okay? Predisposition is not destiny. For example, a person may inherit a higher risk of impulsivity. Now, whether that impulsivity develops into criminal behavior depends on factors such as parenting. Listen here. It depends on factors such as parenting, education, peer groups, trauma, and social environment. So let's start going down the list. Parenting. The Black American man is not at home parenting. So that is already an environmental factor. That is a problem. This is why you African women walking around East Africa, if you want to seek a relationship with this group, you have to check to see how they were parented as children. You don't just say, hey, I got myself an American and I'm going to have children with them. And I'm going to breed with them. Oh, because they are Black. No. Our families in Africa always checked the family tree of the woman or the man you are going to marry. Our cultures always checked that. They were not exposed to science, but they knew something. And we grew up and we decided not to check these things and we're just moving around and dating. Oh, I'm dating. No. So you're raising a daughter and she reaches college and she says, Dad, I want to marry a dude. And the dude is from a certain culture. you have to check. I say no completely, automatically. But for those of you that are liberal enough and you want to consider it, you have to check these factors because the gene is there. That's a constant. It's not going to change. They all have that impulsive gene. It's there. So they all have the potential to commit violent crime. On the gene side, the only thing that makes them not commit these crimes, like the sub-Saharan Africans, is if the environmental factors are stable enough. But because of the makeup of this group since the 70s, those environmental factors are not in your favor. Okay? So that whether that impulsivity develops into criminal behavior depends on factors such as parenting. We already know that's a problem. It's not going to happen. Education, sometimes, not all the time. School dropouts, they have the highest dropout rates. That's a problem. Okay? And an example is the gang culture in the YNs. They don't finish high school for the most part. Or if they do very poorly. So as a dad, before your daughter marries somebody, look at their high school curriculum, assessment, to see the kind of person they were when they had formal education. Peer groups, the kind of people they hang out with. If they hang out with people that use words like ninja this, rap music, all these other things, you want to disassociate. Peer groups, okay? Trauma. If they're listening to nonsense like Tariq Nasheed and all this bullshit, if they come from an abusive past, their dad was beating their ass, their daddy was not around, which is a bigger percentage of this population. Mama beating their ass, mama on drugs, the crack epidemic, for example. These factors disassociate. And their social environment, the ghettos, where are they from? What part of America are they? Inner city people, suburban black? You see? And if you look, if you didn't hear this from me today, and you just even do a general assessment, pick a YN and pick a black man in the suburbs. Completely two different black Americans. The black man in the suburb and the black man in the hood are completely two different people. Sometimes they cross paths in certain aspects, but for the most part, they are completely different. A college-educated black person is a completely different person from this nonsense that are terrorizing communities. So the gene environmental interaction, GXE, is what is the reason why Black America is predominantly violent. But scientists and researchers don't want to say this because in America, we are politically correct and everybody is scared to touch this. But this is there are 3 books peer-reviewed that have established this fact. And it's been used in courtrooms that because these people have this problem, defense attorneys have used this because that was the purpose of this research. They've used this in sentencing. They can't use it in trial because the crime's already committed. One thing they tell from the studies is you can still tell the difference between right and wrong. So they still know when they are wrong and when they are right, right? You still know, remember, if you follow the Julio Fulio trial, when they were reading their sentencing guidelines, all the 2 or 3 of them were very remorseful and they regretted their choices, which means they knew what they were doing was wrong. So criminals and violent criminals know that what they're about to do is wrong. They know, okay? So the gene environmental interaction does not stop them from knowing what is wrong or right. But the impulsivity is what makes them commit these crimes. So the defense attorneys are using this as a way to lessen sentencing. So this is only allowed during sentencing to maybe knock off 2 years or 3 years or take somebody off a death penalty into life in prison. Okay? And before I wrap this up, you're going to hear words in liberal literature like mass incarceration. Mass incarceration is bullshit. It doesn't exist. It's designed just like, the things black people fight for in America. It's designed to soothe these people and to brainwash you. It's a gaslighting technology right there. It's to brainwash you as if white America is walking around people's homes and picking them up and locking them up. Because when you hear mass incarceration, it means you're doing something gigantic, targeting a specific group and locking them up. Like if you look at the prison population, you see a majority one face, hence the term mass incarceration. But it's not the correct term. It's a liberalized term. These people are not being targeted. GXE, as we learn, right, the gene environmental interaction, explains that the person that committed murder is not mass incarcerated. They did indeed commit a crime. So they are incarcerated for crimes they have committed. So the right acceptance is saying that Black America is very violent for the most part, and Black America commits violent crimes for the most part. And that is why they are a majority of the prison population per capita. That is the right explanation. Not mass incarceration to make it seem that people are targeted for crimes they haven't committed. They've all committed these crimes. You may find a few cases in the past where maybe justice wasn't rightly served. The jury didn't do a good job. But that's why you have an appellate system in America. You can appeal these charges. But almost 99.99% of the time in criminal cases, they don't win appeals because they have indeed committed the crime. So the underlying factor here is they are mass criminals, resulting in incarceration that proportionately moves to one particular group. And there's enough scholarly data to prove this. Nobody wants to really talk about it. I've known this for a while. I've read these articles in the past, so I know about it. This is why in my early years, I disassociated. It's not out of hate, but disassociation puts you around people that are like-minded, because I'm not spending my time in dangerous communities. I'm not interacting with people that have a potential to harm me. But if you disassociate, then you have nothing to worry about. You can associate with other groups that don't possess these environmental factors or genetic factors. I'll let this Oshay thing play out a little bit. I hope I explained it.
We need to look closer, right? Because what he's doing, he's not supposed to actually gain any income working in that sort of place, right? When especially you're on a tourist visa and you're not paying your taxes out there, right? You're just a guest, he's a passport bro. He's a clearly passport bro, really. He's just pretending, he has a lady just trying to deflect, from his past, really, it's true. And he actually associated himself as well with, let's say, somebody that actually got involved in serious case in Brazil, right? Hey, this guy's a selfish.
Yeah, from all I've said, that's how you have a Floyd Wallace, right? Sleeping with a 6-year-old, stuff like that.
Many Black Americans, okay, it's not all, many Black Americans tend to go to Africa. They are selfish, right? They have no other options. That's the reason why they are there. Period. That's it. They don't like Africa. It's what they can gain from Africa. That's it. You understand, right? So now.
On every day. I see it. I see people frustrated. Not just here, all through Africa. I see it. I see people walking around with no soul, no hope.
People walking around Africa with no soul and no hope. These people are they projecting Black America on Africa? Have you been to Nairobi on a Friday? Even the people that have little have a lot to live for. They go to church on Sundays. They go out to the bars, hang out with their friends. They have a social life. They are not sitting on a tablet inside a room, air-conditioned room all day. People are actually outside. Some people have farms. They go to the farms on the weekends, sleep in their tents, hang out with friends. Some of my best social encounters are usually when I'm in Africa, including my kids. They hang out with more people and interact with more people, have less screen time when they're in Africa. Even the people that have very little, because we've learned to survive amongst our groups. Everybody has a home. Everybody has a family home. You can go sleep somewhere. Somebody will give you somewhere to live. We're not an individualistic society. That's what attracts a lot of people to Africa. You just want to say that because you may have dealt with somebody that graduated college, didn't get a job, youth unemployment is high, and that can be depressing. That's true. He's right about that part. But there's still a lot of life in most people across the continent. They're a happier bunch. This is why they still have the highest fertility rate in all of in all of the world right now. They have relationships. They have their spouses. They have their children around them that gives them joy and excitement. There's a lot to desire living on the continent. It's not all that bad. And even for some of us that I would say are invited here, have become citizens of this country, if it was that depressing, we wouldn't be going home and taking our children home. I take my children to Africa every year. We go there every year. They enjoy Lusaka and Accra every time we go over there. So these things, I don't know if it's designed to let Black people not travel to Africa. I mean, which is a win for me. I mean, I don't want them over there anyway. But, you know, it feels like he thinks that stopping people from going, we just don't want him over there. I'd rather some good folks go over there. But if I had the choice, I'll just say, don't go. Fine. I mean, he's doing the work for me, right? Don't go. Don't go. Well, I mean, why should you go anyway? Just stay here. You got plenty of, there's no racism here. There should be no reason why you should run away. There are no systemic issues. It's all a lie, man. You can do anything that I can do in this country. And I'm just Black like you. So there is no racism that will hinder your progress here. If you're not doing well, you suck. You're not doing something right. Go to school. Go learn a trade. Change your mindset. Stop being lazy. Wake up in the morning. Put in the hours. Go to work. Start a YouTube channel. Do something. I don't care. Drive Uber. DoorDash, Lyft. While doing that, take community college classes. Combine something. Make something happen. It may take you a little bit of time. It's doable. Go to nursing school. You can get your LPN in 12 months, really. 18 months tops. You can be an LPN making $30 an hour, $35 in San Francisco and in all these other places, $40 in LA. And the jobs are available. Add another year, you're a registered nurse. You can be a travel nurse, make $300,000 a year. There's options in this country, really. So you shouldn't be running away from all these opportunities in some fake racism that you guys have crafted that don't exist. Never seen it. You have young people that have never lived in a white community complain about racism. It's a big lie. Move on. Doesn't exist. White folks are struggling just as much as Black folks. If you haven't figured it out. It's all a lie, man. Remove that shit from your head. If you have that as a base, you will not do well because you are defeated before you even started. Try and fail before you start looking for excuses and blames. You know, if you're, like I said, if a Rwandese or a Congolese that left a war-torn situation, that didn't speak a word of English, can come here and go to nursing school and provide a decent life for his family, but didn't see racism, even though he's in more close contact to white people than you, how can you be sitting in Oak Cliff or in a ghetto complaining about racism? There are no white people there. So what racism are you talking about? You are sitting in Oak Cliff or in the inner city somewhere, on the south side of Chicago, talking about racism when white people can't even drive there because they're going to get shot. So where is the racism? You are segregated amongst your group. You're killing each other. Black on black violence. I explained to you where the violent component comes from. You're not scared of that? You're not scared of your people shooting 2-year-olds 10 times in the head? You're scared of some invisible racism bullshit? It may have happened in the 50s and 60s and under Jim Crow, but segregation is over. Economic segregation exists if you're a broke ass. Yes. If you don't want to work, yeah, you're going to live with the poor. And that's on you. Find a way out of it. And quit complaining. This has been your beef with the black immigrant because we don't want to believe that bullshit. That bullshit was taught to you by your mom because your dad was not at home to correct. I'm your daddy. That's why I'm correcting this shit on the internet. I'm your daddy. The dude that gave birth to you, he ran off. So because I'm a parent, I'll parent you. And the first thing is, take that racism bullshit out of your head. White people in America, for the most part, at least the ones I have encountered, some of the best human beings in all of the planet. And I'm speaking from a 54-country experience. The most opportunity has been given to me by a white man. My visa was granted by a white man. My college admission and my director at graduate school, Mike Planthold, was a white man. If any of these men were racist, wouldn't have happened. I looked at this black African and said, you can come to school here and get an education. And we'll give you a little stipend on top of it. And then all of a sudden, I start hearing narratives from the black community and I'm supposed to hate all these people. And these people have this hidden agenda. That hidden agenda is there. That these black immigrants, they don't see it. And all these struggles. None of you motherfuckers have fought a damn thing in your life. You're high on weed. You've never protested shit. The only time you protested was George Floyd and you were rioting and burning down America. Okay? And you have a 20-year-old saying, oh, these immigrants are so disrespectful. What have you done? What have you done for America? All you've done is cause trouble for America. And then you want reparations on top of that. The dudes that deserve reparations, they are dead and gone. They are the ones that did the fighting. You've been giving reparations. All these homicides you are committing, do you know how much it costs cities and states to send ambulances, to pick up victims, to treat a mostly widely uninsured victim population that have been shot by your own people? Every city of the United States daily. Do you know what that money costs taxpayers, including us Tethers that pay into that shit? Do you know how much money that shit costs the government? Then talk about welfare. With the majority of your people on welfare because you're not sticking around to raise the children, do you know how much that costs? Are you aware that this is bigger than the reparations that you've been talking about? And let's talk about affirmative action, where you suck so much that Asians and white people that are working hard and reading books and doing their arithmetic and going to school and not as truant have to sit back to give you a leg up so that you can go to school. And you had that for years. You always want to be given something. You don't want to work for anything. You're all true sons of the soil, right? How about you pass some damn SATs and write your own college applications like the rest of our children do? Competition is the word. That is what keeps a vibrant capitalist society to function. And this community is an anti-competitive community. You don't want to compete. The only time you compete is sports and entertainment, you know? You don't want to compete in the areas that are relevant. when those things come up, all of a sudden, you want it to be given to you easily. And if it's not given to you easily, you want to boycott. You want to be able to go rob an Asian store and steal from the Asian man that has put money together to start a small business. Go over there and steal his liquor store. Go to any liquor store and look at the pictures they post there of the people that come in there to rob them. It's always black people. You go there, you steal their liquor. Some of you even shoot people. It's very dangerous to work at gas stations at night because one of your citizens will walk in there and shoot the Arab man or Asian man to rob him and even kill him on top of it. You won't just rob him, you rob him and you kill him on top of it, making it very dangerous for people to even provide a service to your community at night. And when these people fire back or maybe get you one time, because sometimes they don't get you, but they get you one time, you turn around and you scream, boycott, boycott this, boycott that, boycott this, boycott that. Places, parks that children used to go to and play. Your children who you haven't raised are going over there and they're doing takeovers. That's what your children are doing, acting like monkeys, taking over places, making places uncomfortable to exist. It's very difficult to live nowadays, especially if you are the other groups, the whites, the Asians. You just can't live around these people. They won't even let you live peacefully. And now you have some members of the community going into Africa, not allowing Africans to live peacefully. We don't care if you are not developed. We don't need you to tell us that. We don't care. That's what we got. If you don't like it, come on back home, buddy. That's all we got. We don't care. We're not trying to be United States of America. We're not competing with anybody. We're doing it at our own pace. Yes, it sucks. So come on back home, where it's so nice and beautiful. And maybe you can be the choir leader of teen takeovers in America. Okay? Maybe you can mentor people in your community to be YouTubers. You know? Instead of shooting 2-year-olds in the head. These are facts. I'm not lying, bro. You're giving everybody PTSD in this country. You're making it very, very difficult to live. One group. It's always one group. You know, I was watching this guy before. I'm going to use this to wrap up because it's later hell. This was supposed to be a test. There's a dude called the Quartering. You know, Jeremy. Dude from Wisconsin. Love him to death. Great, great creator. I think this was one of his videos today. This video.
Well, over the weekend, we had yet another outbreak of the dreaded teen takeover. And first, let me it. We had it's a major problem where I live, 20 minutes north of me in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We had situations over there. We had just terrifying footage in North Charleston, South Carolina to share with you. And just a general, you know, this is lawlessness. And it's just that the media doesn't want you to really know who's really doing it. It's usually young black men who get together and destroy stuff. Destroy Chipotle's, commit crimes, destroy this, ruin everything. And the 4th of July was no exception. Let's get into the story. By the way, I'm only going to promote it today, and then you probably won't hear much about it after that, but new vlog channel. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll have vlogs at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow's vlog is on my visit to the ER. You're not going to want to miss that. And then in South Carolina, this authenticity has been confirmed by local news outlet WCSC5 Live, which also reported that North Charleston Police Department addressed the incident in a statement on Sunday. In the video, a female police officer can be seen getting pummeled by a group of teens just taking over.
Yeah, and the news, you see, the news articles don't want to say it. Black teens, it's black people. But they don't want to say it because they want to sensitize these things, they don't want to be factual, they don't want to respect factually. America is changing a lot. You know, the over-liberalization of America is changing a lot. bring back shame. This is shameful behavior. Daddy didn't tell them at home that it's shameful. But now they are stopping people like us from saying that this is shameful behavior. People, Oshay, when have you seen teen takeovers in Nairobi, Kenya? Doesn't happen.
Multiple officers injured. Here in Milwaukee, one of them got ran over. Another one got a firework, like a mortar. We'll take a look at that. Now, I'm not going to really play much of the video here because it's just bad. But you see 2 to 3 full-grown youths pummeling a white officer on the ground, a white female officer, like the heroes they are. Okay? Just attacking her like rabid beasts. Now, in my opinion, that's when you just start letting the lead fly. That's when you just start letting the lead fly. They got this one guy. They got one guy. Here's a Shamiqua looking for trouble. I mean, they were just throwing haymakers at this white female officer on the ground. Oh, I think that might be a woman. Oof, yikes. And then you got this guy in the hoodie getting involved and then getting tased, but apparently his hoodie is taser proof.
This is what they've done with Martin Luther King's integration. And they don't want to scream that you are here because of them. We are not here to participate in nonsense like this. We don't want our children to participate in nonsense like this. This was not the dream of Martin Luther King. Integration has now become a difficult situation for the other groups in this country. It's very difficult to live having this population around. And the results should be, removing these liberal judges and giving these people, put them away. Put them away like the animals that they are. Why are they coming out after 2 years and after 3 years? Put them away. Build more prisons if that's what you need. Find contracts with host countries like El Salvador. Ship them over there. So that regular, normal folks can live normal, peaceful lives. And, they encroach. Even if you've moved away from them, they encroach these suburbs. Right now, these suburbs are not even safe because these idiots can drive up north and cause mayhem and problems. That's why I live in a gated community. So even living in the suburbs, you have to still buy in a gated community as a first layer of defense. And then you have to arm yourself to the teeth and alarms and like my system, that when there's an intrusion, it automatically calls the police department. So they start heading this way. Luckily, Prosper is a small town, so it takes probably like 2-3 minutes. You're going to have a cop at your house. And then right now, there's like citizen patrol where people in our communities just walk around from time to time, not neighborhood watch. Some of our neighbors participate in that from time to time, only to stay away from black people. They are the only reason. We're not doing this because of Mexicans. We're not doing this because of Southeast Asian Indians. All these security measures are put in place to get only as a protective measure from black people. Look at what they're doing to a police officer, man.
According to North Charleston Police Department, the incident escalated from a block party, which was for organizers of the Chicoria Cherokee community. I didn't see any Indians there. They had permission from the police in advance. However, things turned chaotic at 8:30 p.m. once the liquor store.
But you get the gist of it. We're going to wrap it up. I got to go to bed. I got work tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. I couldn't really get too much into the comments. My comment system, my chat highlighter needs a bit of work. I'm going to work on that. But let me get through some of your comments before I wrap this up. I got to get Seafaring say a lot of us Black Americans. That is absolutely true. Yes, it's not everybody, man. You know, it's not. Like I said, I have my good friend who is on my main channel, Rob. Me and Rob used to work at a company, an oil and gas company, many years ago, and he's a married dude, married to the same woman from all these years when we worked together, and he would come from Louisiana. So when he's driving through Texas, would work in West Texas. So when he's driving through Texas, you stop at my house and spend the night, and then the following morning we'll drive to work together. Do a 4-hour trip to West Texas together. And I was just talking to him sometime last week. I checked on him last week. He had gone to one of his sons was sick in Pennsylvania, I think in college, and he had gone there to check on him. So it's definitely not everybody. You know, these things we talk about is just saying that these problems exist. And whether or not it's going to be solved, I don't think it will be solved. And I don't think, even if you're Black American, I don't think you should hope for that solution, because it's not going to happen. The solution lies within you yourself. Are you going to raise your children? Are you going to be married and stay in a stable relationship? When you're married and in a relationship, are you going to get the resources to make your marriage work? I go to church every Monday for 2 hours for marriage lessons. Me and my wife go every Monday for 2 hours. We sit with other couples. It's a group session. We talk through things. We learn from. We are the youngest on our table, actually, for this session. And we do this every summer. And every summer, it adds a good layer to our marriage, and it helps our marriage. It teaches us how to be selfless, you know, how to put God first in everything we do, because that's really what is at the core of these marriages. Without that, it's not a marriage. And maybe one day I'll start doing topics like that, where I can, you know, talk about these things and explain some of the real, because of doxers, I can't like really, you know, open up like that, because these idiots want to harm me and attack me because I'm speaking the truth. So it's hard for me to share the things that I think will help people, you know, unless you reach out personally, which I don't charge you when you reach out. You know, if you reach out personally, I will share these things with you on a personal note, and I'll share it for free. But for all these things to resolve itself, you have to segregate from the other group, even if they are Black people. Even if you are Black American and it feels like you are betraying your community, do it. You separate yourself. You leave the masses and go to the suburbs and give your children an opportunity, because the things that I read on the environmental factors, you can be a good parent, but you can fail with the peer pressure part because of the community you're living in and the schools you're going to. The peer pressure will overtake the parenting. And then you're going to end up with a kid called Sean Gathright. I think you guys know that kid, who had the best upbringing, but ended up in the Julio murders. And everybody was like, how did he end up there? That peer pressure component, because the gene is a constant. The gene already is there. But the peer pressure, coupled with the fact that his parents got divorced. So that means the parenting part was the problem. Everything that I've taught today and talked about today, if you think about it at a higher level, and you pick every criminal case that you watch on local news from today going on, one of these environmental factors that I mentioned is applicable to every single case. And it's your job as a man to eliminate those factors. If you don't, it will happen to your children. Eliminate the peer pressure. Be a good parent. Those are the things I talk about. It may sound a bit spicy. I'm a spicy. I talk a bit wild. I know that. But I found out over the years, being an educator, that is also the only way people listen and take things seriously. It's not out of hate. You know, it's just a loss. And I'll do a video about this, a more in-depth video about the welfare state. These problems did not exist in Black America in the 50s. And actually in most of the 60s, it did not. It started mostly around the 70s when the welfare state really got expanded, where it made it very profitable for people to sit at home and stay on welfare than to go to work. And it started creating a cycle of independence for women to where even visitations by men was deemed as a reason to lose their benefits. So it pushed the men away. And it created a subculture of just single motherhood and women taking control. And, you know, red pillars will say modern feminism, but it's not. Feminism is in Brazil. Feminism is in Africa. And they don't seem to have that problem. Okay. So that's not what it is. It's all the other things that, but for the most part, it started with the welfare state, which broke down the Black family. I have a very beautiful book on that I'm going to do a video on, maybe through a live stream or a recorded video, where it explains how that transition happened and how fast, really how fast, it resulted in breaking up Black homes. And now it's on steroids because these are the results of that broken up homes. And it's going to be extensive. The only way is to say, look at your community from afar and say, hey, I love you guys, but I'm going on the other side. I can't be around y'all. I'm going on the other side. That's the only way. You take care of you and your family. Yes, it may sound selfish, but do it. You go look for an apartment in the suburbs and you say, the hell with this bullshit. I'm going to love you guys from a distance. I'm going to watch some movies about you from the distance. And the people you leave behind, they're going to kill themselves. They're going to lock them up and they're going to die off after a few generations. They're only going to remain if you're of age and you're not marrying, you're not raising children right, and you are being one individual at a time, you're being part of it. You're being part of it. You're being part of it. There's 400,000 people that listen to Oshay Duke Jackson. If Oshay teaches this message, mostly men, all those men, 400,000, within a 10-year cycle, can give us a very productive Black community that is productive at work, productive in their relationships, raising good children. But that's not what they talk about. They mock women. They talk about useless stuff. They talk about how long somebody's dick is. They don't tell people how they can improve their lives and their relationships and how they can build their families and money and work and just how to have a good work ethic. They don't talk about none of that because it's boring. Who wants to listen to that bullshit? So the cycle continues. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to check out. It's pretty late. I've put in some work today on YouTube. I hope you guys have a great night. This was just a test, but it ran for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And on that note, y'all have a good night.